We are under the Econoline again, 2007. I think it's the same procedure from 1992 all the way up. So, yeah, with the fourth generation Econoline, twin I-beam suspension. Um, we are looking at what's called the axle pivot bushings, and these, to me, would be considered a lower control arm bushing, but there's no lower control arms on this Econoline. There's only twin I-beam suspension. So they are calling these the axle pivot bushings. And so, yeah, we're going to have to get a 21 millimeter socket on here and a 21 millimeter wrench back here to hold back. If you get the jack in the right position, okay, underneath the I-beam, let me tell you a little trick. If you can't get this bolt to loosen up the way you don't have to beat on it to get it out, then there's another trick you can do. You can take the jack, take it down off the I-beam and all that, remove it, put it over here, right here by this, underneath the engine, underneath the cross member, and don't touch the I-beam, just cross member. Jack the van up a little bit to the point where the tires almost come off the ground. What you're doing is you're resetting the front end. You're resetting the front end, and what you want to do is jack it up to that point and then lower it back down, because what you did was you drug the wheels in and you changed the angle and the pitch of the I-beams and also the pressure that's on them. And then come back under the I-beam and jack it up a little bit. And you should get to a point where you can do this with the bolt by hand, with the wheels still on the ground and the full weight of the vehicle on the wheels. And once you do that, in other words, I got the jack up a little bit just to take the tension off. You get the jack just right, you can do that. We have the twin I-beam loose. You can see we have the bolts out of it down here, right there. It's ready to go. The new bushing actually is in there. We put the new bushing in, and that's the driver's side going over to the passenger side. That's down with the bolt missing. Now, we have to kind of do this in a sequence to get to the passenger side, which is on the driver's side, because the I-beam goes all the way across and winds up on the other side, opposing side. So we have this jack sitting right about where it should be, and we were able to get that loose, take it off, and in order for this bolt to come out, to clear that I-beam with just enough room, we had to pull down on this I-beam and leave it unhooked. So essentially, we have to keep them both unhooked at the same time on the twin I-beams in order to change these bushings. But it can be done. Now, the wheels are still on the ground. We just have jack stands supporting. And we have jack stands supporting. There's a lot of pressure on this jack stand. And the wheel is still on the ground, partially stabilizing. And there's the spring.
Driver's side wheel cocked out.
Right, so it's cocked out like that because we have that down. Now the stabilizer bar is still in place, and so is the shock. And that's good, because I think we need that extra support and stability for what we're doing here. Yeah, so. And we got one jack stand over there, 6 ton, or is that 3 ton? Well, 6 ton, yeah, on the frame, just supporting the frame just in case we have any problems under here. But yeah, it looks like a dangerous job, and it could be, but it looks like we're doing okay. Now, we gotta get this bolt out here. All right, good, made it easy for us. See, we were trying to do it, take the bolt out, and just run into the back of the I-beam. We almost had enough room, and on some Econolines, I bet you they have enough room. For instance, my 1999 I've done this on, it has enough room. It's just luck of the draw, I guess. I don't know. It's how these rivets are set, how, what year it is, what the I-beam is like. I don't know. But anyway, we had to go down with the driver first to clear this, and yeah. So here we are. So now we're gonna lower this jack just a little bit, see if we can get this I-beam to drop. Ooh, okay. Yeah. So our jack stand down there is catching it right here.
You need to go down a little bit more to clear that bushing.
Yeah, but we're just going to do this slow. Alright, with a series of wedges and crap, we got it. So we took the jack and we jacked driver's side back up over here, and then we stuck the jack stand. You notice it was right here. We slid it down to right there past this I-beam. Then we took a pry bar, we stuck it in here, and we pried this one down so that we could access it. So, what does that mean, huh?
Yeah, move the arms a series of directions.
Yeah, okay. So after this series of adjustments and arm movements and such, I-beam movements, we've got this I-beam pivot bushing. Axle pivot bushing. This is not an axle. Why do they call it that? I don't know. This is I-beam pivot bushing. I mean, why do you want to call it twin I-beam suspension? This is an I-beam bushing. And it really looks like a lower control arm bushing, but there's no lower control arms, like I said, on an E-series. It's I-beam. So technically the I-beams are the lower control arms. But since you don't have an upper control arm, I guess that's what, they can't call it a lower. Whatever. Passenger wheels cocked out? Yeah, it's cocked out down at the bottom because the I-beam's down. And that takes a spring and twists it a little bit, but it's not enough to pop out of its socket insulator. But believe me, if it would have been enough, we would have done that already to ourselves, and we didn't. So that part's pretty safe. So all in all, it's just really like a real scary deal, but it's not really that bad. It's pretty easy. It's all about figuring out how to do this, like what the comfortable spot is, and it's not perfect. There are a couple of different, sweet spots on here, so it's not like just the one we found. I think it's more about the insecurity of having both I-beams with the wheels still on the ground, disconnected. That's probably the worst bothersome point. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna give me my our puller. And we're gonna start. I'll show you the video. We're gonna start hooking this thing up and get this side pulled out. All right, so we just reversed our clamp. We pushed it all the way through by pushing it through the back here.
Nice pushing.
And we used a socket. Let me see that socket we used. Socket stuck in the bushing. All right, so socket stuck on the rubber. We used a Taiwan 32 millimeter half-inch drive socket. Seems to have the right diameter. I have a Craftsman too like this, and it's the same diameter. It seemed to kind of push and hit the rubber and then twist right and then push it out. It's the second time we've used this socket in the second bushing, and it's working. So if you don't want to have to buy all of these adapters and shit in this kit and socket, that's what you're using, then yeah, we just used a socket. We just held it straight and made sure, and that socket did a lot of teetering and stuff like that. It just pushed itself through the hole. And that's the second time it worked on two different bushings. So we just took that bushing out that way, and we'll show you what our new bushing looks like going in. We'll try to. This is one old one on the other side, and here's the other old one. We still have to remove the socket. It's pinched itself around the rubber. All right. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but we've got our new bushing here, and I'm going to use this Ford, this OEM brand, 27166C. Anyway, it seems to fit on there pretty good.
The ball joint kit.
Yeah, it's for the ball joint kit. But it fits on there, and they have one that comes with the stock kit with the Chinese clamp. It's the same. It's kind of the same. It just doesn't seem to fit as good, but it does, and it doesn't have a, spot right here, so you can put it both ways. So we're going to use that to push it in this way, like that. And we're going to put that on our C-clamp. I mean our puller, whatever they call that. Let's see if we can do it this way. Maybe able to. And yeah, and have this on the back side, so it can go through and house it. I think it'll work. All right, we're gonna do this and we'll get back. All right, this is what the setup should look like if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it. That's the bushing. right here. That's the portion on the back side to allow the bushing to go through. And then that's that piece from the Ford kit I was talking about right here. And let's see what it looks like in forward motion. One hand holding, one hand on the impact, and one hand on the recording device. Alright, it's going in. I gotta slow down because I only want to go as much as my old bushing, the way that Ford had them in. As you can see, there's a line of rust, then a clean spot, and then the back side sticking out as well. So looks like a 1/4 inch on the front side, and I don't know, an eighth on the back side, but I'm going to split the difference and do it right in the middle. So slow down toward the end and don't suck it all the way in, because then you got to go back around and push it back out. I know it's crazy the way that the bushing's in right in the middle, but that's the way the factory did it, and that's the way we're putting it back together. All right, we're going to wrap this up and make this a short video and sort of an experienced person's video, but you can do this without any real special tools except for this puller and an impact.
We do need to mention that there is an order to this.
I mentioned that. Yeah. The order is obviously not the driver's side or passenger side first. Not the passenger side first. The driver's side has to come out first because of that bolt. Everything hinges on this bolt right here needing to be removed on the driver's side, right by the steering box here, for the passenger side. Because right now we're technically doing the passenger side, and it's located over on the driver's side. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. And so that is the order. The order is take care of business and get this bolt out first. And the only way to get this bolt out on some models it comes right out, is you got to clear this I-beam right here.
That means you got to drop the driver's side I-beam first.
That means you have to drop the driver's first. And that's what we did. And yeah, it's crazy. So we got to drop this beam down a little bit more. It's not in its spot yet to get this bolt back in before we tighten this up.
So reinstall passenger side first, then driver's side after.
Correct. All right. All right, so we got our bolt through, and what we're going to do is just put the nut on and just let the nut sit on there and don't tighten it up. That's what we're going to do right here, right now. And we're going to get our jacks and stuff out once we put the other side in, put the bolt in the other side. And we're not going to tighten that side either. We're going to get these two back together with their bolts in and secure and safe, and then we are going to take all the jack stands out, lower the vehicle onto the wheels all the way with no pressure on any jack stands, get it to standard ride height. And after we get it to standard ride height, then we're going to come back and tighten these two bolts so that we have our rubbers, our new bushings set at the standard ride height, so that we don't do it while it's in the air a little bit, tighten it and then drop it, and then that tears rubber over time, and that's not what you want. You don't want your bushings to wear out early after going through this kind of mess. So that's that's the proper way to set these.
All right, we got the job done, and I got to tell you, without this Chinese branded Vever, however you say that, Vever ball joint service kit, or as they refer to it, the ball joint press. It's really a handheld, giant seat clamp press. So, yeah, I mean, it did the job, and I think I paid 30. What did I pay for this? 30 what? 38 bucks. 38 bucks. And there are many out there on the internet, and this was on eBay. And for 38 bucks, it did 4 ball joints. It did those bushings you just saw, and I done a few other bushings on other vehicles, and I had just miscellaneous stuff. and so far it hadn't uh, broken yet, bent, or the threads on this. I was worried about the threads. Besides this one pitted thread right here, um, didn't get all chewed up so far, and that's being used by the you know constant force of a battery operated tool. And I guess if I had an air powered um, tool, it would be the same thing. So it took all the abuse I gave it so far, and I guess I should be impressed, but not really. I wish we could bring manufacturing back here in the U.S., but so far, for what I had to use it for, it's okay. I'm certainly not going to sing Chinese praises, but it is something that I needed, and I wish politicians wouldn't have sold our industry out. So anyway, the job's done and it worked, and I hope that if anybody else undertakes this kind of job, that they have the same luck that I did. So anyway, good luck to y'all out there, and like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. All right.